This might be Katherine Heigl's best movie ever. And I'm not joking. We saw Unforgettable, so you know what that means.
How did Schwarzenegger grow a baby in his belly? Rock a rhinestone vest while ripping Justin to Kelly. Or maybe see a burlesque show with Nick Crow and take a boat with speed to hitting cruise control. J-Man, Big Paul in the beautiful June. Gonna take you from the goob all the way to the room. Ran the games of Street Fighter, helped to blow off steam. Just a sucker punch the odd life of Timothy Green. Sharknado, the birdemic, how we staying alive. They call it in the badass and he's on the line. Cranking 88 minutes cause they cool as ice. Cause a bad Jim Varney looking kind of nice. Paul and June getting literal, Jason is getting laid. June is making sure all the monkey shots getting paid. They judge a bunch of movies while they making the grade. Here's a real question for you, how did this get made? That's a good look, Haru.
What's that smell?
Hello, people of Earth, and welcome to Matinee Monday. This is where we go back and look at classic episodes of How Did This Get Made and give you a little sampling, a little taste of it. We also re-released these episodes into our podcast feed so you can listen to them for free for the first time in a long time because normally they're hidden behind a paywall. We hate those paywalls. Paywalls suck, but you know what? They also pay the bills. That's what we got to do. We're a podcast. That's how it works. Anyway, you get it, but let's talk about this movie. Katherine Heigl, Rosario Dawson, and some dude. And that dude is good. This whole movie is amazing. It came out in 2017, but the technology is no further than the Sandra Bullock movie, The Net. Seriously. I mean, everything in this movie feels like people didn't understand how to Google. And the company they work for like a publishing company where they just write chapters of books. We were confused. We went to the audience to help us explain what was even going on. We recorded this live in Durham, North Carolina, as a matter of fact. This was truly one of our favorite films on that tour because Katherine Heigl is bringing it. She is insane. And I have to say, the cybersex scene in this movie is maybe one of the best scenes in recent memory of any film of all time. How's that for a sales pitch? Anyway, we love Rosario Dawson, who is amazing in this. I cannot wait for her Star Wars spinoff series. Oh, it's going to be so good. But here, take a listen to us talking about her and Katherine Heigl in this film.
Rosario Dawson, and by the way, let's just get out of the way. Everyone in this movie is doing A+ work. Everyone's bringing
home run.
Truly. But I want to talk about some issues in it. First of all, where does Rosario Dawson work? She works at a place called Chapter Pad, a place for online storytelling.
Here's the thing. This a searing commentary on tech culture and the nonsense companies that grow there.
She's seemingly that they're letting her go, and then I think we find out later
they're not letting her go.
She's gonna work remotely.
But I think she was becoming an author. And was she an editor?
I believe she's an editor.
I think what they were going for, right, is that she was the chief editor of content at Chapter Pad. So I think what they were going for was that she was editing other people's stories and that she was on a journey to really tell this new chapter of her own life, tell her own stories. And the issue I have with that is we never see her at work.
No, at one point...
Or even trying to work.
Trying to work,
She's just,
wanting to
what
work.
she's up to? Midday baths. And I am, quote unquote, here for it.
But listen, she's also like, I'm going to actively be a good stepmom, which the only thing she really does is make that giant schedule, which I'm sort of like,
and she's
that's
so
the
proud of
easiest
herself.
part of parenting.
She's so proud of herself for that. She looks at it like, I fucking did it.
I took what is so simply digital and made it analog. I'm the best. But I want to just, before we get too far away from it, Chapter Pad, this movie came out in 2017, a mere 2 years ago, and it posits a world in which people are reading books via chapter on the internet. Like what? Like it would be a book.
By the way,
we read books.
by the way,
Chapter
if you
Kindles,
told
they're
me right
digital
now
books.
that was a business that was hugely successful, I'd be like, Okay, I guess so. I guess that's just what we're doing.
Don't you think Chapter Pad was sort of like Medium or that kind of website?
Oh,
like
I thought it was more like I subscribe and I get 5 chapters a month of 5 different books, and then that's what I thought. I thought it was a
insane,
chapter,
Paul.
like a book by subscription. Like,
Did anybody actually look up Chapter Pad? Is there? I bet did the movie? Okay, so first of all, I think we're wrong about something.
I'm gonna go down there and find out.
Yeah, get it quick.
Choose one amongst you to speak the truth. Everybody decide now, because this person speaks for you,
like, raise your
Durham,
hand.
North Carolina.
All right.
So Wattpad is an online international forum where you can post all of your writing. It's a private website, so you can basically get feedback without having it be considered as being published. And so a lot of people who are trying to get feedback on their writing before they submit to agents put their stuff up there. And there is a lot of fan fiction, but because it's considered a private site, it's not technically having copyright issues.
Got
And
it.
They
Quick
basically
question, though.
They
So-
basically take literally everything from Wattpad, change the color, even the font, and they used that as their chapter pad.
Wow.
But does-
that was a
but does-
very good description.
It was, but if you're just posting work that you don't want published and you want feedback on, why would they have an editor there?
Maybe we're mistaken in that she's an editor. Maybe she's a feedback giver. Maybe she's like
Just an internet user?
no.
She's like running forums, and she's like, you know
Is
what?
she like an in-house, like, here's what I think?
Because at one point, Whitney Cummings says to her, hey, you're late on that chapter.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so that again brought me to the chapter.
Here's what I'll say. However much time we have left in the show, we should dedicate to understanding this. This is categorically the most important.
Well, I bring it up only because technology in this movie is hilarious to me. We'll get to her websites in just a little bit. But I want to go through each one. I have a screen grab of each one. Avril Halley, our producer, she pulled amazing screen grabs. So we will get to that. But I do think that the understanding of technology is suspect in this film.
Oh, well, so many of the things that happen in this movie could have been mitigated with simple Google searches or a modicum of internet work. Like,
Right.
truly, the events of this movie could have been avoided.
And then I just want to bring up one more thing about
Like, the movie
chapter-
exists almost in the 80s.
Well, that's
Yes.
what's so interesting. And not to interrupt, but there is a scene at the end where Rosario Dawson's character, we find out just how crazy Katherine Heigl is. And in that scene, a file is brought with different papers and
They printed
official
out
documents.
all of her Facebook communications.
Wait, the
long
police?
form.
Wait, are you asking the police or Whitney?
No,
I'm
the
talking about the
police.
No, I'm talking about the conversation that Rosario Dawson has with Whitney.
Oh, yeah,
so
Whitney
in
also
that
is printing
scene-
it out.
Where are those
In
files
that
from?
scene, I can tell you, in that scene, Whitney has a throwaway line that was like, well, I guess it helps to keep a convicted hacker on payroll or on staff.
Oh, right,
so
of
that
course.
Whitney used someone within her company, chapter whatever, to hack or to do a background search on Katherine Heigl's character. So now they have access
But
to all of
didn't
her.
a lot of those documents look like original documents?
Why do they have a hacker on payroll, which is...
so
I
that
don't
this
know
can
what
happen-
what Chapter Pad is doing.
The reality.
And then can I just, one more thing about Chapter Pad. So when they give her a cake, the cake says, we'll miss you, comma, regardless. That doesn't feel like correct grammar to me.
Is that really what it
they're
says?
saying-
Yes.
It is
Well-
what it says because I think what's happening. I think what's happening is that she's been an editor. She's going off to write her own stories. Is it that they're expecting to see Rosario Dawson's chapters on Chapter Pad? So that's why they keep on saying goodbye-ish.
She's saying goodbye-ish because she's not leaving the company. She's still part of the company, but she's going to be working from LA. That's why she's leaving the physical proximity of Northern California, and so she won't be with them. That's why the
So
rest of the
everything
movie
is
she
just
talks to
remote.
Whitney on the phone.
I see what you're
We'll
saying.
miss
Okay.
you regardless.
Doesn't it say we'll miss you-ish or something?
No,
It says
she says that.
goodbye-ish.
Goodbye-ish, that's what it is, yeah.
Okay, so anyway,
Ugh.
that's all my take on Chapter Pad. I will leave it at that.
I would like to dig in further, just for a second,
Yeah.
on Chapter
We are
Pad.
running out
Now,
of time.
here's the thing. What is it?
Let's go to the audience again. And the other thing was, and I think the one thing we always like to point out here is the people behind this movie, and we can say this is simply a Steve Mnuchin and
yeah.
Brett Ratner joint.
It is
This
Steve Mnuchin. When Steve Mnuchin's name came up, I was like, whoa, okay, here we go.
All right, that's all for Matinee Monday. We'll see you next week for another one pulled from the vaults.